Hello and welcome back. Once again, it is time for the Golden Age of DC Comics 365 Days, where I take this beloved hardcover coffee table book given to me about 2 decades ago by one of my best friends. This has served my coffee tables ever since and has been a constant source of great comic book shop style conversation. And that's what I'm looking to recreate here today with you. Thank you so much for tuning in today. This is an Abrams 2004 publication, curated and written by Chip Kidd, Geoff Spear, and Les Daniels. There is a link to the Amazon page in the description so you can get your own copy at a reasonable price. It will look great on your coffee table, and it makes a great gift for a comic book geek like me. I know, because I got one. The Golden Age of DC Comics runs between 1938 and 1955. The Silver Age from 1955 until 1970. The Bronze Age from 1970 until 1985. And the Copper Age begins in 1985. And what goes great with coffee table talk, a coffee table book, and coffee table conversation? Freshly brewed coffee. Delicious. This is Guatemalan Huehuetenango. This is a great coffee. Very delicious. Freshly brewed. And how are you doing today? I hope you are doing awesome and feeling great. And this is the time of the show where I mentioned something called the escapism caveat. Listen, seriously, activism has its place in its space. It is so needed. The world needs help. The people living in it need help. And you know what? Activism is well intended and has its purpose. Yet, there's a bad side to activism where over the past few years, it's gotten so pushy and it's invaded spaces like our fandoms and our sports, so much so that I officially accuse it of being a bully. Sorry, it's my opinion and I'm sticking to it. Yet, what is just as important as activism? Escapism. We need a break from the world's problems. Just for a few minutes in a day, we need to have these stories and have these distractions to spirit us away to a different place just for a few moments. Where we can be a space hero fighting an evil empire, where we could be a pirate, where we could be a gangster, or the cops that are trying to bust the gangsters, where we could get lost in the game and in the spirit of the moment. And activism has really intruded upon all of these spaces. So much so that I've developed an unhealthy case of compassion fatigue. I would rather ignore the activists now and their constant preaching and screeching and the constant lecturing. Look, I don't open a comic book. I don't go to a Superman comic book to be lectured. I go for an adventure to leave this world and my worries behind just for a little bit, because those worries will be here when I get back and we can take care of them. But the activists are really being bullies. They have invaded these spaces, our fandom spaces, and insist that activism needs to be everywhere, and if you don't fall in step with them, that the problem's with you. You're a bigot, you're an ist, you're a phobe. No, I reject that. I think that activism is important, and I respect activism. But does activism respect us? No, they don't. They want to bully us into using our fandoms as their platform to spread their message. They have their space and their place, and so does escapism. Escapism needs its place, and that's where I'm coming from. And we're going to return to that escapism, and we're going to crack open this book. We're going to use this 365 days book for its intended purpose. We're going to go to today's date. We're going to look at some art, we're going to read the blurb, and then we're going to talk about comic books, because we're talking comic books every day for the rest of the year. So let's get to it. Today is July the 11th. And to coin a phrase, that's just a bad pun. It's about Superman today and his powers. Look at that art. This is, we're going to get to it. This is pencils by Wayne Boring, inks by Stan K, and this is from the cover of Action Comics number 109 from June of 1947. As the character of Superman developed, creators kept inventing new abilities for him until he became virtually omnipotent. Readers loved that, but the writers and their enthusiasm were making trouble for themselves. It was increasingly difficult to come up with an opponent worthy of the Man of Steel. One solution was to go low, with an enemy who really couldn't fight the hero, but might frustrate and humiliate him. Such a character was the prankster, introduced in 1942 and once dubbed Superman's most annoying foe. In this story, the malicious practical joker introduces a special gas into the U.S. Mint, dissolving the ink on all the bills and turning the nation's currency into useless scraps of paper. Whoa, that prankster, huh? Yeah. And that's that for our art today. And we're going to take a spotlight real quick on Superman and his evolving power set over the years. Now, Superman started in the Golden Age. Yeah, the Golden Age actually started with Superman in Action Comics number 1 in 1938. And back then, he had a limited power set. He had super strength. He had super speed, faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, look up in the skies. Is it a bird? A plane? No! It's Superman! Strange visitor from the planet Krypton. And so it goes. And that was the opening of the radio show and eventually the TV series. Enhanced leaping. He could leap over 1/8 of a mile or over a tall building. Super durability. He was highly resistant to injury, but he was not so invulnerable as his modern depiction. And he had super senses, eyesight, and hearing. And this was the Golden Age Superman. Now, by the time we get to the Max Fleischer 1940s cartoons, that Superman had the true ability of flight. And that stuck with the character going forward. And also in the radio show introduced the K mineral, or the K element, which was eventually became green kryptonite. And then the galaxy and spectrum of the different kryptonites, which affect Superman differently. But it was the green kryptonite that weakened Superman's abilities. And moving on from the Golden Age, the Silver and Bronze Age Superman, that's when we get to the point of what we call the OP Superman. OP is short for overpowered. So Superman became so powerful in the Silver and Bronze Ages that he was actually able to move planets and fly in space unaided. So let's go down the list of his powers. He had super strength that allowed him to battle Omega-level threats such as Darkseid. Flight. He gained the power of true flight. Super speed. He got to the point where he could travel faster than light. Actually, one of the comic gimmicks going through the Bronze and Silver Ages was his races with Barry Allen's The Flash. Who was faster? Was it the Flash or was it Superman? And usually they'd get their races interrupted by some kind of super crime or something to settle. But it was one of those great comic book conversations that kind of always panned out one way or the other, or never at all. Superman versus the Flash. Who is the fastest? He had invulnerability. By the 70s, Superman became able to withstand an atomic explosion and even fly through the core of a star. He had supervision, and this is where we get the super prefix. And so super became, and especially when written in the classic 3D Superman font, that was so iconic of Superman. So when you said super anything, like super plumber, in that font, you evoked the icon of Superman, and someone super helpful and super nice and super powerful. And yeah, Superman is just this huge American mythology. So he had, in addition to X-ray vision and heat vision, Superman was also given telescopic and microscopic vision. He could see across interstellar distances, and see things that occurred on a microscopic and even atomic level. He could see through the electromagnetic spectrum, including infrared and ultraviolet. And one of my favorite little story beats was in the Grant Morrison All-Star Superman of the early 2000s, where it was a big love letter to the Silver and Bronze Age Superman, that he got to share his powers with Lois Lane for a day. For 24 hours, Lois became Superwoman, and she was looking, can't you see all that wonderful radio? So not only could they hear the radio unaided without a radio transponder, or even just a simple radio, she could see the radio waves. It was wonderful, elegant, to these imaginary stories and powers. Love this stuff. Super hearing. Superman could hear sound at almost any wavelength at great distances. And that was great for distress calls, especially Jimmy Olsen's Super Watch. He would get into trouble all the time. Super breath. He was capable of freezing objects, he could hold his breath indefinitely, allowing him to travel underwater or in space without a breathing apparatus. He had super mental powers, like a genius-level intellect and an eidetic memory. Eidetic memory, let's look that up real quick. Search all wikis. It's an, I'm sorry. It's relating or denoting mental images and having unusual vividness and detail. So he could look at something and memorize it really quickly. He had super ventriloquism, super hypnotism, and super stamina, and a healing factor. And this was the Silver and Bronze Age Superman. And but after 1985's Crisis on Infinite Earths, ushering in the Copper Age, Superman was purposefully depowered to make room for more stories. And from there, he was able to rebuild up his powers. He never really got quite as powerful as his Bronze and Silver Age versions. Unfortunately, Superboy Prime, the big bad of comic books in the 2000s since Infinite Crisis, that Superboy had all of those Silver and Bronze Age OP attributes, the overpowered nature of Superman, and he was quite a foe. It took the Superman of Earth 2 and Superman of Earth 1, or New Earth, to team up to beat Superboy Prime. Unfortunately, it was at the expense of Earth 2 Superman's life. And so we have been talking comic books, and we're going to be talking about comic books every day for the rest of the year. Tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and we'll find out who we're talking about when we turn the page tomorrow. I make daily content, and I would love to earn your subscription. So like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. I talk about cooking. I'm a professional chef, so much so that I am now referred to as the Sultan of Soup. This is true. Thank you, Wes from Thinking Critical, for giving me that title. I'm an ordained minister, a spiritual guy, an amateur theologian. We get spiritual on this channel. It's hashtag lighten up. It's about how a little enlightenment can go a long way to improve your daily existence. We unabashedly talk about gratitude lists, and spirituality here on this station. And also, I try to find planets early in the morning. It's called Naked Eye Sky. And also, I have nature moments. I see bunnies eating their breakfast, grazing on the lawn on my way to the subway station. Nice little nature moments. I love sharing this with everyone. Thank you so very much for tuning in. I'm truly grateful and blessed that you're here with me right now. And so tune in tomorrow. Good luck. Namaste. God bless. And we will see you again tomorrow in these funny pages. Thanks. Cheers. Bye-bye.